Good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to InfoComm 2018. We're here on the NEC Display Solutions stand. It's in the Central Hall. And we have the CEO of InfoComm with us, David Labuskes.
Good to be here. I'm actually the CEO of
What
AVIXA.
did I say? What did I say?
You said I'm the CEO of InfoComm.
Of course you changed your name
We
last
did
June
indeed.
or July.
It's nice of you to notice.
I'm sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Sorry, we're at InfoComm 2018. Yes, AVIXA. I am so sorry.
Don't be sorry.
Yeah.
We have a little jar in the break room in the office for when we do it.
How much money do I need to put in?
It's for you.
Yeah.
It's about $17,000.
Oh, geez. Okay, right. I'll write a check out later on then. So sorry. So I was going to lead my leading question, which I prepared very carefully beforehand. I was going to say, this is the first InfoComm 2000. This is the first InfoComm from AVIXA. So how well did I mess the introduction up then?
I think you're flustered.
Yeah, that's what it is.
I don't know.
So this seems somehow InfoComm 2018 does seem bigger and brighter and bigger than ever. Would that be good?
That's good. We certainly feel bigger and brighter. You know, there's 1,000 numbers you can judge a show by, and you know, the big number everybody always focuses on is attendance, and we don't know that number for a couple more days. Right. The numbers we've got more exhibit space and demo space and education space than we ever had. Right. We've got over 3,000 people that signed up for the education workshop seminar packages. I mean,
the education stuff seems to be endless. I mean, the last couple of days we got in over the weekend, but on Monday and on Tuesday, education stuff just seemed to be endless.
It is endless, and it's such a deep and enriching part of the show. And what's really important about it is so much of it is new, so much is focused on the outcomes that our industry creates. It's all of the technical geek out education is still there, and the training's still there, but talking about how to make it relevant. And then what I'm really excited about is how this education is interweaving itself throughout what we do the rest of the year. And that goes to part of why we're AVIXA instead of InfoComm, in that AVIXA operates around the globe 365 days a year. We do 10 trade shows, but the rest of the time we're still creating relevance, we're still providing community, we're still acting as a catalyst for market growth. And none of that happens without real content, right? You can reach people and start a conversation, right? We all probably at some point, if not now, in our career, made a living out of walking up to strangers and introducing ourselves and starting a conversation. Right. But friendship, like real relationship, happens when you have relevant content to talk about with each other. And so we're working hard on developing content that's relevant to the chief marketing officers, the CIOs, and the CEOs in the vertical markets that our exhibitors want to reach. Yeah. Some of that's making its way into education. Some of it's coming out of education. I can just keep going. I mean, so and
Tide Conference, which is third year here. So first Tide Conference in Vegas.
Yep.
But the third year, if you count the one in ISE, you count that as part of the same
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's coming on really well. You had some great speakers yesterday for that.
I'm really proud of that. You know, maybe I shouldn't confess on video, but I wasn't necessarily a big fan of it. And you know, this is one of those things where my staff, my team was so committed to doing this and saw it as such a great opportunity to really influence the conversation in the industry that we went for it. So events like this, right, you invest in them first. Yeah. We were chatting about that before the video. And eventually, hopefully, they become revenue neutral or maybe even make a couple dollars. Yeah. We're not there yet, but where we are this year is, one, we had over 200 people attend. So first time we broke a 200 number, and that's kind of a nice, sweet number for our conference. Yeah. The second thing is a lot of those speakers asked if they could come and speak. So it's less of a writing a check, pay to play. Yeah. You're actually creating enough of a brand, and you're creating an audience that's relevant to the speakers as much as the speaker is relevant to the audience, that they're asking if they can use that stage. So I think look for more from that in the years to come.
Brilliant. Now you've also announced, I think since we last spoke, there'll be 2 new events in Asia. Yeah. So you've got InfoComm Bangkok. Yeah. And there's another one in a city in China, which I can't remember. InfoComm.
It's Chengdu, which is Western China. We took a lot of look at the Chinese market to see how do our manufacturing members want to serve that market and reach that market. We have a sold-out show in Beijing every year. We literally have reached capacity with regards to the convention center there. we started looking at a lot of the cities in China, and we wanted to ensure that we didn't cannibalize that show and or waste the money of the exhibitors on bringing the same people to a second show.
Gotcha.
So by moving to Chengdu, it's an incredibly strategic city for China right now, with their One Road, One Belt initiative, which is to connect China to Europe through the mainland rather than overseas. And Chengdu sits right there on what used to be the Silk Road.
Yeah.
That show is in September of this year. We had hoped that we would have about 40,000 square feet there, and we've already got contracts on over 60,000 square feet there.
So, it's gonna be,
so I'm jazzed about that.
That's good.
The Bangkok show starts in May of next year. It's Infocom Southeast Asia.
Okay.
And the only reason to sort of call out that distinction is that Thailand's not big enough, Singapore's not big enough, Vietnam's not big enough, Cambodia's not big enough. None of those economies are big enough on their own to support a trade show and to support the investment the exhibitors have to make. But if we can make that be a true regional show for Southeast Asia, then it's a demand that marketplace is crying out for. There's nothing like that there.
And that's May in 2019.
May 2019. Yeah.
Now, one of the things you must also be pretty excited about this show is how the park is developed.
Yeah, I think the park is great. You know, there's you never make all the people happy. You can only make some of the people happy some of the times, right? So there's debate about is it distract people from the stands and whether or not there's a challenge there. Part of the success of a trade show is people wanting to come back, right? Part of wanting to come back is that it's not a miserable experience, right? We joke about eating a cold hot dog sitting on the floor in the hallway.
Yeah.
The park gives us a place where you can have informal conversations, grab a bite to eat, explore some of the AV in an environment that's sort of friendly and welcome environment.
Yeah.
And right next to the park is C2. I'm sorry,
which is
I
brilliant.
just jumped in.
No, C2. I was going to say about C2 as well.
And, C2 is another example of this desire to talk about the integrated experience and the outcomes that AV creates. And I'm terribly jazzed about that. We talked before off camera about both of us did the Sky experience, and I, like you, was surprised by the sensory feeling I had as we were being elevated. It's only 15, 20 feet in the air, but you actually do feel like you're going up in the air in a hot air balloon.
Sure.
And it does free you to have different kinds of conversations. I think that tied in with, if you think about our education conferences, you talk about Tide, and I didn't talk about Center Stage, but you even look at Center Stage and the quality of the speakers there. That's what you see happening with AVIXA bringing an association to a trade show rather than just laying a veneer on top of a trade show. The trade show, and don't mean to be diminishing about it, it's a massively critical part of the industry and of our mission. But it's informed by content, and people come for both the content and the exhibitors. And I'm just watching all of these parts work together in a really successful and exciting machine. And it translates into people being happy, and you just walk around. There's this thing, I'll stop talking. There's this thing that everybody talks about in the trade show business and nobody can define, and it's the buzz, right? You just feel it. And let's be honest, there were a couple years where I'm not sure everybody was feeling it at this show. We felt it last year, and we feel it more strongly this year. I got no data or evidence for that. I admit it, but the show is alive. The industry is growing at an exponential rate. We're rocking it.
Well, I think you are, David. So
thank you.
Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.